Every day we enjoy bread, cookies, cakes, crackers, pies, pancakes, waffles, biscuits, donuts, ice cream cones, pizza, spaghetti, and pasta of all kinds. But did you ever wonder where all that delicious food comes from? Well, it starts all around us, right here in the wheat fields of Kansas. So let's see how wheat gets from field to flour to food. Every fall, Kansas farmers plant millions of acres of wheat. The wheat soon germinates and then lies dormant throughout the winter, waiting for the warmth and rains of spring to start the growing process once more. As early summer approaches, the wheat ripens, turning from fields of green into waving seas of golden grain. Harvest time has arrived. The ripened wheat is then loaded into trucks, and much of it ends up here, in Salina, at the Western Star Mill, which is owned by the Archer Daniels Midland Company. The first step in the milling process is to clean the wheat. Metal, sticks, stones, and straw are removed, and each kernel of wheat is scoured so that nothing but the pure wheat kernel remains. A wheat kernel is the seed of the wheat plant, and it consists of three parts: the bran, which is the outer layers; the germ, a tiny part of the seed which will sprout into new wheat if planted; and the endosperm, which is the part used to make white flour. Once cleaned, moisture is added to the wheat in precise amounts to condition it by toughening the bran and mellowing the inner endosperm. This causes the individual parts of the kernel to separate more easily. Now the wheat kernels are ready to be milled into flour. Most flour used in the U.S. today is produced by roller mills. A roller mill grinds the wheat kernel by crushing it between pairs of rotating steel rollers. It then separates the endosperm from the bran and germ by running it over sieves and purifiers. The whole process is repeated over and over until fine flour is produced. But there's more to it than that. Let's take a closer look. The cleaned and conditioned wheat kernels are first fed from a hopper into the corrugated steel rollers called brake rolls. Just one pass through the brake rolls begins the separation of bran, endosperm, and germ into coarse particles. The broken particles of wheat are then transported upstairs by pneumatic tubes, which mix air with the wheat particles so they flow almost like water. The particles are then dropped through huge rotating sifters, where they are shaken to separate the larger from smaller particles. Many different sizes of particles come from a single sifter, including some flour with each sifting. Larger particles are shaken off from the top, leaving the finer flour to sift to the bottom. The particles are next graded by size and carried to a purifier, which uses airflow to remove the bran. 4 or 5 more sets of rollers, each followed by a sifter and purifier, grind the particles smaller and smaller, each time creating more flour and removing more bran. This process is repeated over and over again, sifters to purifiers to rollers, until the maximum amount of white flour, bran, and germ has been separated. Sometimes flours are mixed together to create different grades for various types of baking. Bleaching may also be done at this stage to give the flour a uniform white color. Sometimes flour is enriched by adding B vitamins, iron, and folic acid. And finally, when all these processes are complete, the finished flour flows through pneumatic tubes to the packing room to be bagged or into hoppers for bulk storage. From there, the flour ends up here at the bakery, where it is used to make all the bread, cake, and cookies, and all the other wonderful foods we enjoy every day. And here at the Smoky Hill Museum, we have our own flour mill. If you look around, you will see our X-Mill. This is a miniature working flour mill, and although it's much simpler than the big machines at Salina's Western Star Mills, it uses the same basic process to turn wheat kernels into flour. So the next time you're munching on a sandwich or enjoying a delicious piece of pie, take a few moments to think about how that wheat kernel got from field to flour to food.